Peace, peace, and blessings all. Welcome to today, this live broadcast brought to you by Takiyah Gettys and Sincerity Garcia. We are
Hey, beautiful
members,
people.
we are members of the Lyrical Meditation podcast and which is launching very soon. We're very excited. And
Yeah.
on that podcast, we talk about many personal development themes, a new one each week. But the special thing about it is it's so innovative because we bring the special sauce of hip hop and poetry and meditation to the table as a way of introducing these topics. We
Mm.
have a fantastic conversation. We actually each introduce a piece that we either freestyle or write, and really give you our hearts. You know.
Yeah, so the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast, where we rhyme, we spit, we vibe. It started with Tony Blackman, and we are a group of women who are multifaceted, right? So we all have different skill sets, different talents, and we are all healers in our own right, right? We all have our own stories, and we all share our stories through our gifts. And through that, we hope that our audience also is able to, receive that good energy that we give. Because for us, it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic to be in this lyrical meditation cipher, right? And so, what we want to do with this is really be able to transcend that energy, that healing energy, that positive energy to our viewers and our listeners.
So the LMC podcast, Lyrical Meditation Cipher Podcast.
Yeah.
You wait for it. It's coming.
So,
Uh,
what
so
are we talking about today,
right.
Takiyah?
So
Tell
what
the
we thought
people.
we'd bring today was this conversation about affirmations. I hear that words, just spun in media, spun in different circles about,
Yes.
that have to do with personal development all the time. But what does that really mean, and do they really work? You know,
Mm.
do you
Do
have
they
a
really work?
personal opinion about whether they work or not?
I definitely believe that they work. I feel like it's become part of my life because I'm how do I say? I do a lot of things that require a lot of confidence, right?
Yeah.
And in order to have that confidence, I need to be able to speak life into myself.
Mhm.
In church, I remember um, people used to always say to, sometimes you need to encourage yourself, right?
Mhm.
Or like these things. So I think it's been part of tradition in many forms in many ways. But
Mhm.
affirmations, when it's to me, it's speaking life into myself.
Yeah.
Um, to me, it's it doesn't have to be a down day or a bad day for me to affirm myself, but
Right.
it is important to acknowledge myself, and especially like if I'm getting on stage or if
Mhm.
I'm about to speak to people, or even if I'm about to record or write a song, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
I am that person. I'm unstoppable. I'm unbreakable. Depending on what comes to mind for me in that moment, that I need to claim for myself.
Right.
You know,
It is, right. It is a
that's
declaration. It's a
yeah,
declaration
yeah, yeah,
thing,
for sure.
So when we're affirming, what we're really affirming is some type of belief about ourselves. Like when we make a statement that starts with, and we recommend that, if I know that what works best for me is starting my affirmation with I am, right? So
Yes.
establishing my divine presence and bringing my highest self to the moment, to the words. The energy changes,
Mm,
the room changes when I say I am.
yeah.
And and I know that it speaks to my highest mind. um,
Mm,
and so that's actually my favorite one, just I am, period. And
yeah.
it emboldens me, like you said, when you're doing things that are can be scary, or that require a big presence, and to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, or that
Hmm.
that have to hold energy of a lot of people, to really establish yourself with some significant presence and an awareness that you're not just this human with frailty, but you are also this human being with immense power.
Right. And I think that's part of it too. so often I may not be in tune of that power, right?
Right.
So it's important to speak that to myself so that I'm able to get my power back. I had an activity. I work with young people. I work with incarcerated individuals. I work with, how do I say, a, a variety of different groups, right? Of people. And it's always important to start the sessions that I do with gratitude and end them with affirmations, and it really is transformative in the energy of the space and the
Mhm.
energy of the individuals and myself, right?
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
to be able to kind of use affirmations in those spaces is also a reminder to myself, right, to use them. And so, what are some of your favorite affirmations? I wanted to get into that.
Well, that is my favorite one. That is my absolute favorite one. I use it a lot because I think for me, it's the only one I need.
Okay.
It really just centers me, and once I remember, the God in myself, the
Mm-hmm.
highest, aspect of my being, my consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else matters, and
Mm,
so when I do that before I take the stage, I do that before I enter into every coaching session that I have. When I do transformative coaching, I use this with people, and I have them
yeah.
actually make choices, because
Mm,
choice is power, right? Rather than
mm,
wishing or writing goals, which are simply like to-do lists that have wishes attached. You actually are choosing, making a choice, like you're picking up
yeah.
the key of the universe, you're
Yeah.
claiming it. So I'm open to people have clearly making up their own. And I think it's actually important that you use words that are really in alignment with your own language,
Mm,
because you're talking to yourself.
right.
And
Right.
so what has significance or connotations to you based on your past experience might not have the same for another person. So taking other people's words, unless they truly resonate, isn't the best move.
Well, that's what came to mind for me too, right? Because we may sometimes have an inner dialogue or something that was said to us when we were younger that stuck with us. That is
Mhm.
not something that we want to be a part of us, right? Like, um, one thing that my inner dialogue will say or has said, right, is like, you're not enough, right?
Sure.
And one thing that people have told me is that I'm too emotional or I'm too sensitive. And that
Okay.
is such a trigger for me. So
Yeah.
for me, I've been able to take back that power and be like, sensitivity is my superpower,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so the way that I affirm myself with those is like with those words or those phrases is I am more than enough, right? So I
Hmm.
am more than enough. And I I transform, like I transform lives with my sensitivity, or I am most powerful when I use my voice.
Hmm.
Right? There's never been a time I've felt smaller than an instant where I feel like I can't speak up. And so that is one of my favorite affirmations. I'm most powerful when I use my voice.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I use I am a lot. I also use I create. So I
Hmm.
create miracles. I create change. I create transformation. So I do like to use different affirmations. It does, I'm not going to lie, it does depend often in what is going through my mind or maybe even what I'm dealing with. And
Yeah.
if I'm in a good space, a lot of times my affirmation will be those same things, but it can, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it can shift. It can shift, but there are go-to affirmations.
That's really important point too, because emotional alignment, I think, is one of the things that gets kind of missed as a key ingredient in the actual affect of an affirmation. So if you're out of emotional alignment, like, you can't lie to yourself. If you
Right.
say, I'm clearly sitting down right now. If I say I'm a stand up person, but then I just always sit down. Like my
Mm,
subconscious hears that and and then thinks that I'm lying, knows that I'm lying, knows that I'm not speaking the truth about myself because I am not taking aligned action with my words.
mm,
So what's missing for a lot of people, and why sometimes they find themselves feeling high and then low again, and having and not really having the experience of what they're trying to affirm, is that they don't actually take the physical action toward the thing that they're affirming. They just say the words, but their actions aren't in alignment.
mm. Do you think if somebody wants to get to that position, that that is a time to affirm as well? Because I might not be rich, right? And I'm just saying something random, but if I'm saying I am rich, and that could mean many things. It might not just be money, even though that may be something. For example, if I'm originally talking about money, if I'm saying I am rich as an affirmation,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And as I am claiming that richness, I realize, well, I'm rich in love. I'm rich in substance. I'm rich in this. And then the money becomes like minimal because you're like, I have all of these things that are way more important.
Sure.
So like the money is the easy part. You know what I'm saying? So do you think you can claim that affirmation even if you might not be in that space now?
Yes, I think though I think it's still relevant that you take action in a way that affirms what you're saying, because
Mm,
that's what alignment is. Alignment is alignment of your word and your deed, and your thoughts. So if you have thoughts that you're having, and then you say something that is in opposition to what you're thinking, and then you do something that's out of alignment with your words, right? If you're not actually
mm,
following through, like you say, for example, you just use the money example, like you say, I'm
mm-hmm.
rich, but then
Yeah.
as soon as you go to buy something at the store, you say, oh, I can't afford that, you know?
So then you're affirming that
Right.
too. Yeah.
So
Because you're still
there's
speaking
always a
it
way
out
that you
there.
can take even a half a step, or one, or a kind of an energetic movement in the direction of what you are claiming. That it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It just has to be in alignment.
Mm,
Because in spirituality, there's no hierarchy of action. It's just that you took action in alignment.
right.
You know.
Right. Not
So
like that. I
so
agree with
I
that.
always tell my clients is this. I tell them, to say, to themselves when they're at that kind of crossroads,
Yeah.
who am I being asked to become? And in the other instance, like for example, in this kind of wealth-minded instance, I would say,
That comes up a lot,
who
those
would
type of affirmation.
what would I do if I were
Yeah.
this person now?
Mm,
Like that, and then you make your choice from the orientation of the person that you are becoming,
hmm.
right? Rather than
Okay.
the person who's afraid.
Yeah, no, that's super important to do it out of, you know what I'm saying, um, away from fear. Because one thing too, like I think many people are scared to proclaim their dreams or speak their dreams into existence, right? And I
Mhm.
do think that that comes from fear. Do you agree with that?
1,000%. I
Yeah.
think there's really only two energies, right? It's either fear or it's love. And
Mm,
so if it's not love, then even if it is masked as something else,
yeah.
like you can see someone from the outside who's really successful, and
Hmm.
by whatever you define success as, like you might
Yeah.
see them with a fancy car, a big house. They might even be very emotionally uplifted in your presence, but when
Yeah.
they're home, we don't know how they are, and we don't know if the decision that to be successful was motivated, right, by the intention of fear of failure, or
Hmm.
actually just love of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're different energies. Doing something because you're afraid of it and trying to get away from it usually ends badly. Usually
Yeah.
ends because the energy of kind of scarcity is running throughout everything that you do, that the interactions, the deals you make, the right. So it's a very frail foundation versus being
Right.
built on the intention of doing it because you love it, because it's in alignment with
Mm,
purpose. That's a different energy.
yes, most definitely. Most definitely. And I do believe that your gifts open up doors for you. And I think that if we believe that, you know what I'm saying, like in our hearts and our minds, and we speak all of that into existence, and it's it doesn't it's almost like it doesn't feel like you're doing all that work compared
Yes.
to when you're operating in fear.
Yes. Everything is harder, when you're operating in that kind of low energy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And what I find is that when you're vibrating high and you're really coming from a place of love, doing anything, the outcome is always greater than what you envisioned,
Yeah.
and it affects people more deeply and more people, and the ripples that you'll never see go far and wide, you know.
Yes. Far wide. And not just for you, but for every person that you touch, for everyone that's able to witness,
Hmm.
right? Your elevation. So it's a beautiful thing. So I think affirmations are worth our time.
I would agree with that. I would agree. So just I would say that they're worth your time if you do them in alignment. If you take
Okay.
action in the direction of the thing that you're affirming, then it actually completes the circuit. If you
I
just
love
speak
that.
empty words, then it's like electricity just flying everywhere and the energy doesn't know where to
Mm.
flow.
Yeah. And I gotta take it back to church. Faith without works is dead.
Hey, there it
Right?
is.
So it's like you gotta, yes, we gotta have the faith. I think that's the first thing, right? You have the vision, the faith, all of that, but then we have to take action in that direction. Like you said,
Yeah.
be in alignment to what we are affirming for ourselves and our lives.
Yes. And we touched on it a little bit throughout the
Mhm.
process, but I think that if I were going to say the three most important things, like about making really solid affirmations that work, I would say that it was what we just said, which is
Yeah.
being in alignment. I would say
Okay.
it's the intensity of the emotion.
Mm.
So, just thinking them and not having an emotional connection to it, because emotion is creative.
Yeah.
You know, we love an artist that can emote when they're singing, like, we
Mm-hmm.
feel it, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't feel the words you're saying and they're just empty, it's the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would
Yeah.
say saying them in an energy of already done,
Mm.
like completion. So
Mm-hmm.
you're affirming what's already complete, and because things are created twice, they're created in as a thought and then in form. So already complete here, and now it's just like logistics after that.
Let's repeat those three things one more time before we, you know what I'm saying,
Okay.
summarize and close and ask our audience if they think, you know what I'm saying, affirmations are
Yes.
worth their time. So can you repeat those one more time?
Yes. So number one is alignment, right?
Alignment.
Alignment, emotional alignment, right? So thought, word, deed. So
Mm,
some action doesn't have to be huge, just an action of some kind in the
yeah,
direction of the thing you're affirming. And the emotional intensity of your vocalizing.
yeah.
If you say them in a way that you really feel it, like really allow yourself to truly believe what you're saying is the truth.
Mm,
And then finally is saying it with an energy and a knowing of it already being done.
already done. All right, y'all. So let me see if I got this down.
And so it
So
is.
it's thought, word, deed. I had to do the hands. Thought, word, deed. Emotional intensity,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then the declaration as if it is already done.
Already done.
That's it. So
Yes.
tell us, do y'all think affirmations are worth your time? We want to know. And we just want to invite you all to come check out the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast. I guarantee you will enjoy listening. And now it's not just our two beautiful voices. We have a collective of women, a group of powerful, powerful women with
Yes.
incredible voices, with incredible gifts. And our intention is to pour on to you, right? As we pour into each other. So come through the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast You know what
Coming
I'm saying?
soon. All
Reach out to
platforms.
us, vibe with us, fit with us, vibe, come, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And also we will, we also do so many things. Like we drop music, we have projects going on. We want you to be in tune with us, to communicate with us, to check in on us. We love to to just be in relationship with those who listen to us on your drive home, on your way to the gym, while you're working out, all of that. As you're getting ready for bed, as you're getting up and waking up in the morning, I'm telling you, you will enjoy the Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast as much as we do.
Together we rise. Come join the ride. Come on now.
That's it. That's it.
Well,
All
it's
right,
been a
y'all.
pleasure. It's been so great, chatting with you, and I look forward to talking to all those who are listening on the replay or live. We love you, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
Peace and blessings. Once again, I am Sincerity Garcia.
And my name is Takiyah Gettys. Peace and love.
We'll see you soon. Bye.